I don't know why this eye is just watering like crazy. Hopefully you guys don't care about that. Hello my dears and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela and I put out beauty related videos on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Today's video is a collection of my favorite Hotpots or single eyeshadows from Coastal Scents. I also have 3 Blushpots to share with you that are fairly new in their makeup collection or whatever. If you're unfamiliar with Coastal Scents, that's crazy because everybody knows who Coastal Scents is. They are an online makeup retailer that has extremely inexpensive makeup and in my opinion some of the best like single eyeshadows for its price. All of their single eyeshadows always retail for about $1.95 and multiple times a year they have sales. I've raved about them a lot. I've talked about how great their shipping service is. I also want to say that this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, but Coastal Scents, if you're ever watching and you want to sponsor a girl, I'm available. Anyway, I'm gonna quit my babbling and let's just get into my favorite Hotpots and my favorite Blushpots. Yeah! First one is Pumpkin Pie and this one is so good, it's always sold out. I've legit like signed up for email notifications for when this hot pot goes in stock because mine, as you could clearly see, is very, very much love. And this is just one of those beautiful standard transition-y shades. It blends out wonderfully. It's super duper buttery. It's soft. It doesn't come off as chalky or it doesn't skip or anything like that. It's just no joke, one of the best Hotpots I think Coastal Scents carries. And there's a reason why that little guy is always sold out. The next one I have is Oatmeal Tan and the reason why I purchased this one is because Pumpkin Pie was out of stock. And this is like a really good like brown neutral transition color. This is like perfect if you want to do a cool tone look. If you want to do a warm tone look, it looks pretty on its own. It's just one of those that you can literally just pop into your crease, put on a nice like shimmering shade and boom, done. The next one I want to talk about is Bronze Peach and it is, it's just like a beautiful mauvey peachy pink almost, which is weird because it's got like some cool and it's got some like warm tone to it. It could be used both ways. I think it would look wonderful on its own, just like patted all over the lid and blended into the crease. It's such a beautiful like pinky shade without it being too pink. So if you want to wear a little bit of pink but you're scared you're gonna look sick, that is like one of the most perfect colors to use for pink looks. The next one I want to talk about is this gorgeous mustardy yellow color, and my sister and I are like currently obsessed with anything that looks like an orange or a mustard color. It's so pretty on its own. Like I want to say that a mustardy yellow like this looks like amazing if you just put it into your crease and then pat it onto your lid. Just run it on the lower lash line and add a ton of mascara and it just looks gorgeous. I purchased it because I saw this type of shade or color in the Subculture palette and I knew I had to have one of these colors, and this formula and this color is gorgeous. It's very buttery. It's not drying at all. It comes off really opaque on just a first swatch. It blends out beautifully into the crease. The next one is Oktoberfest and this is just like that beautiful like reddish brown color that everybody loves and has because I feel like this color is in like every palette now, like no joke. It's just your standard warm like reddish brown. Like I said, it's got that like terracotta color. This particular one does feel a little bit dry like when you do a finger swatch. However, when you put it on your eyelids, it goes on really pigmented, really nice. It blends out beautifully. You know, you won't have any sort of like chalkiness or skipping or you know, fallout or anything like that. It just feels dry when you touch it, but like I said, when you're blending it in with a brush, you won't feel any of that at all. The next one is Barista and this is just like a typical milk chocolate brown type of color. Is just beautiful to have to place like in the outer corner for a softer day or like an everyday look. This color looks gorgeous smoked out on the lower lash line. I love using that color for that. It's really pretty in the crease. There has been days where I go in with like Pumpkin Pie and then put this right on top of that and blend those two in together just to deepen that crease color a little bit to give it more dimension, and it just again complements it so well because it's more of a neutral brown. It's not too cool, it's not too warm, so it just looks fantastic paired with anything really. The next one I want to talk about is Chocolatier, and this one was super disappointing when I first got it. I was really sad because I wanted it to be this intense and this dark. Like I wanted something super dark to be able to build in my outer V or whatever. It doesn't swatch as pigmented as it is in the pan, but it is buildable, which is quite nice, and it's very beginner friendly if you think about it, because if you're a beginner, you don't want eyeshadows that are insanely pigmented, because then you'll just end up with like a big old on your eye, and I'd rather build up the intensity in certain colors such as that one than to have something that's fully opaque and fully pigmented, because it might take a lot longer to blend out a super pigmented shadow than a like sheer shadow. I hope that makes sense, but I still love it. So the next one I want to talk about is something that I like absolutely love in any eyeshadow, and I have something similar to this in like a ColourPop Super Shock shadow, and it is Victorian Pear, and it's basically like a satin, almost taupey color. You probably can't really tell in the light, but I will have swatches, of course. It's got teeny tiny reflexes of green glitter in there. The green glitter does not come up like at all in the shadow. It's almost like non-existent after you've swatched it or placed it on your eye. This makes such a gorgeous color for an everyday look. It's a very soft shade. It packs on really pretty. It's not streaky or chalky or anything like that. It's just a beautiful satin shade, and Caramel Ice is gorgeous. It is like the most beautiful, like icy, shimmering eyeshadow. It is buttery, it is smooth. It doesn't have any chunky glitter in it. It doesn't have any sort of like dryness or chalky feeling to it. One of those shades that just looks gorgeous all over the lid. It looks beautiful as a highlight. Like you can use this to highlight your face because it doesn't have any chunky glitter, and it's not gonna accentuate like your texture or your pores or anything like that. It's just beautiful. Then I want to talk about my favorite Blushpots, or my favorite blushes from Coastal Scents. I've got two blushes and then one that's like a matte highlighter or whatever. The first one being FLAN. FLAN reminds me a lot of the Wet n Wild Apricot in the Middle. They're both identical. It goes onto the skin so nice. It has sort of a satin like finish to it, but it doesn't look over glowy or over like shimmery or anything like that. Like I said, it's like almost identical. So if you have this, and you don't really need this, but I got it because of the color and I like the name. It's super cute. This next one I want to talk about I've been using quite often, and it is a beautiful matte blush in the shade Glowing Ember. And if you're somebody like me with like a light to medium skin tone, this is like that blush that you get when you come in from like the cold or whatever, where your cheeks and your like nose get really like rosy and stuff. This is what this color is like. Very buttery, very smooth. It's not chalky. It goes onto the cheeks gorgeously. It blends out beautifully. Pretty sure it was yesterday's video that I used this blush and I love it. And the last one I want to talk about is Antiquity, and this one was described as a matte highlight, which is strange because I don't want to highlight with anything that's matte, to be honest. But I bought this for two reasons. One being that I could set my eyeshadow primer or my concealer on my lids, and two, to highlight the under eye. Now it highlights the under eye really well. However, you do get that flashback, so I don't recommend using this under the eyes if you're doing flash photography. But if you're just using it to wear it, or you know, to just have your makeup done or whatever, it looks really nice as a brightening you know, under eye setting powder. If you're looking for a perfect like bone color to set like all of your eye primers or your concealers or whatever with, like, this would be your guy. And that's all I've got for you guys today. So hopefully you enjoyed my Coastal Scents favorites for this year, or my Coastal Scents favorites period. And if you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and spread my love for makeup. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.